What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Reports. Today I'm bringing you a first impression of episode 1 of ACCA 13 Territory Inspection Department. Yo! Can we talk about that opening first and foremost? Easily the opening of the winter season, even though we still got some days left. And Chain Chronicle, I don't know, I think Chain Chronicle still takes the crown, but the opening to this series, straight fire. I mean, straight up sound like something out of Persona. If you are a fan of Persona, if you like Meguro's work, then this opening is gonna sit you right at home. I mean, I just wanted to get out of my seat and fucking dance as soon as I heard it. It just has that feel. If you like Persona, at least stick around for the opening and maybe the soundtrack of this series. Lots of horns, lots of pianos. You already know what it is, but let's get on to the episode itself because I can talk about that opening this entire video. But we're here for my first reactions, my first impression of this series. So let's get down to that. So as far as this series goes, we're following a man by the name of Gene, the cigarette peddler. And that is his thing. That's his trademark. He always got that cig in his hand, and cigarettes must be a really big thing in this society. As they say, if you're even seen smoking a cigarette out in public, you're seen as an elitist. Like, people straight up hate you. And cigarette peddling, cigarettes, it's like the black market. People are smuggling cigarettes. I mean, this is a very seedy type of underground. I really want to know more about what that all means and why is this guy called Gene the cigarette peddler in a world that seems like it's like prohibition almost with cigarettes. But the whole premise of ACCA 13, ACCA 13, I'm not sure which one to call it. Might just go with ACCA just to make it a little bit easier. The society for the past 100 years has had people overseeing the operations of everything going around. You know, the fire departments, ambulance, government, pretty much everything has been broken up. Each division is broken up into 13 parts. There's 5 main offices or 5 officers that look over everything. And they pretty much got to the point where they felt that society's been so peaceful for the past few years that this department that Gene works for is no longer needed. Again, he works for the Territory Inspection Department. So his job is to go around and make sure that people over these countries, these little cities or whatever they are up to snuff. This guy's basically an auditor. So yeah, we got an anime about auditing. Yay! Yeah, that doesn't sound as good on paper as it should, but that's what we're dealing with in this series. And the 5 chief officers decided that John and his department is no longer needed because the world is so peaceful right now. So they break the news to him, and we follow him a majority through this episode as he goes around basically to break the news to everyone that they're being let go. So yeah, we got the adventures of an auditor, but he cannot help but do his job 100% because that's what he's paid to do, right? And with doing that, he began to discover a little bit of shadiness going on. Like, he was looking through the records of one department in this place called Famasu, and he seen that the transaction records was 5 minutes off. And within a little bit of digging, he was able to find out within that activity that those 5 minutes that was off was used to actually peddle some cigarettes illegally. And it was done by somebody that actually was head of one of the offices. So his job was successful, crackdown succeeded. This gets back to the higher ups, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Maybe we ought to keep this apartment around. You know, that whole thing about us letting you go, no, that's out the window now. You're gonna stay. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of unraveling what's going on with this, because basically if people wanted to get rid of a department whose job is to make sure that no shady shit is going on, then it must definitely be some shady shit. And I think it's a lot more to deal with in this world besides cigarettes, because if that was the case, then this guy probably would have been gone a long time ago. There's definitely something digging, something bigger brewing, and you can never have that much peace. I mean, you start off the episode with everybody celebrating how much peace it is in the world. It's something going on. Either by those people that's sitting in the table at the 5 head offices, or maybe within, maybe they're pulling the strings, they're working for somebody else. Somebody is corrupt, and Gene's job is he's going to get to the bottom of it, because he felt like he's being picked on because they decided not to dissolve his department. However, they gave him the task to try to trip him up, to basically investigate all of the divisions. I think he has to go through all 13 of them in 6 months. And he was talking to his superior, because he's the vice president of this department, by saying, you know, usually we only hit places like maybe once or twice a year. So they expect me to go to all these places in 6 months. What did I do? Did I rub somebody the wrong way? Did I piss them off? Well, that's going to be the premise of the story. And again, it doesn't sound too good on paper, but the thought that there's some corruption going on somewhere, that's going to be the bigger picture of this story. And again, it's even people out there to get John. I mean, there's a lot of people in this series as far as who to keep up with. It was a lot of people as far as directors, staff members, and things like that to all keep up with in the first episode. However, there's somebody in particular who is after John personally. He's like, I don't like this guy. He smokes out in public. He's scum. He's a snob. I want to get rid of him. And he's at a table having dinner or lunch like with one of his friends, and they're down in the city. And John's like, well, you know, we come here for the food just like you guys. Just because I'm higher up doesn't mean that I look down on people. And he left his lighter behind. And this guy who has a problem with John took the lighter and said, now things are going to get interesting. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's ironic that while this guy got the lighter from John, there's been a string of arsonists going on as well. So it looks like he's probably going to try to set John up from the fall. You got the 5 chief officers basically trying to get him to do this almost impossible task in a short time. Somebody wants this guy gone. Somebody doesn't want him to do his job. And I think the whole reason why they decided not to dissolve the department was so they can set him up to take the fall for whatever corruption that they're doing underground. So with that being said, I'm not too sure how I feel about ACCA 13 yet, because there's definitely something there. There's definitely something to unravel to see what the bigger picture is and how it has it been peace for so long. And where is the corruption? Because it's definitely there somewhere. And we're going to follow this character to hide the truth. And I think the deeper he gets, the more interesting thing is going to get. Now, some other things I need to touch on is the animation itself. I mean, this animation is kind of weird. I mean, it's almost like a visual novel. And for Madhouse not to have top-notch animation is a little bit weird. At the same time, it kind of fits this series because it's definitely not spectacular by any means, but it seems like with the tone and shift that we have to this series, somehow it fits. It's definitely not the best, but it seems to fit at the same time. It's definitely different. I just wanted to point that out too, because it's going to take a little bit to get rid of, not get rid of, but basically get used to, especially with a studio's Madhouse being so well known for their animation. To see something like this just seems like they're not trying, but we have to see how that goes as well. Again, I really did like the music, but I know this series is going to get shit on by a lot of people in the anime community because for all intents and purposes, it was slow. We're following an auditor going around doing this job, even though he is trying to dig up corruption and some type of coup d'etat that's going on within the government. But you have to get to that point. In a series like this, you have to let it burn just a little bit. You have to give it probably more than 3 Fs. You probably have to give it 4 or 5 for us to finally get to the meat of the matter. Just like I said about Onihei yesterday, is bringing up a lot of Joker game vibes, which wasn't really well receptive within the anime community. Hopefully this can pull things off a little bit better than Joker game. It doesn't have that episodic feel. It does feel like some things that we encounter in the other episodes are going to come more into play. But because of its slow pace, I can understand why people probably wouldn't want to watch this after the first episode. But me personally, I like spy things. I like intrigue. I like mysteries. So I'm going to stick around with it long enough to see where this story goes, where it builds and where it develops. And we'll just have to see where it goes from here. I'm definitely going to give it 3. But I want to know what you guys think. Definitely let me know what you thought of this series in the comments below. Are you going to give it a chance? Or are you just going to drop it automatically because you don't want to see some dude do paperwork? Are you waiting for that big reveal that's going to turn everything on his head? Because I think that the deeper that Gene goes into his job, the more things are going to come to light. And I think that's where the fun is going to really begin. And it's Madhouse. I can't imagine Madhouse just straight up giving us a dull adaptation. I just think overall with the source material that they have, they got to weed through the slowness first to get to the big parts. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for this video. Definitely let me know what you thought of this series and this episode in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there's not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. This is a rough winter season, because if I go back, I know we still got Konosuba coming tomorrow, but if we go back to everything that we looked at, the only thing that I'm certain that I'm sticking with right now, besides Konosuba, because that's just going to be a load of fun, is Little Witch Academia, Rakugo, which I'm not reviewing, and I like Onihei. I like Onihei as well, but we'll just have to see where that goes. So, looks like it's going to be more JoJo. And on that note, if you don't know, I am reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, and I have less reads, so go ahead and check those out as well. And I'll see you guys later. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.